Our next guest couldn't have been classier and more laudatory than anyone in relation to the man that he has succeeded. We welcome Jim McElwain to our program, the new head coach at the University of Florida. I imagine by now, Coach McElwain, you've gotten used to that, but it will take some of us a while to get used to it. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations.
Well, Paul, thanks so much. It's great to visit with you again, and you say that, and yet I kind of got to pinch myself a little bit every time I hear that. But I'm starting to get used to it and really excited about it.
Well, I remember I've spoken to you a number of different times since then, but I think the last time I actually physically saw you, you were walking off the field in New Orleans, having just won a national championship. I didn't know you were heading to the airport to jump on a plane to go to Fort Collins, Colorado, but we did chat the next day, and you've had quite a run since then. What's it been like since you, I doubt you've landed for long, but just what have you been doing, and what's it been like getting your Gator hat on?
Well, I got to tell you, it's been, it was obviously hard to, leave a group of men here in Fort Collins, at Colorado State, a place that gave me an opportunity and a chance, and I can't, thank them enough. And yet, there's only certain opportunities that come along in life, and you got to grab them when they're there. And obviously, University of Florida is one of those that, you can, whenever you say the name, it carries a brand recognition, not only football-wise, but, just as a total institution and a place that I'm really proud to be a part of, and really looking forward to kind of hit the ground running, as we put this thing together.
I know you can't help, and not that you would want to outrun your relationship with Nick Saban. I also understand he's preparing for a national semifinal, but have you had an opportunity to at least be in contact with him in any way since you got the job? Yeah,
Coach has been, he's been so helpful and helpful to me. There's another guy that took a chance on an unknown guy out of, at the time, I think I was at Fresno State, and I can't tell you the things that I was able to learn from him and how helpful he's been, since then. And, a relationship between he and Terry that our family has that, I just can't thank him enough. And yet, looking at the schedule, I hope we get the opportunity to meet each other in Atlanta.
Yeah, that would be. You know what it's like. And I don't mean to jump ahead, but it's hard to avoid this week the Nick Saban versus Urban Meyer narrative. It's all over the screen on ESPN and everywhere else. You certainly know what that's like. You've been a part of that. What do you think Coach Saban is going through right now, and Coach Meyer as well, getting ready for that national semifinal game Thursday night?
Well, I think what both guys do a great job of, and I'm sure not is and the thing I really garnered when I was with Coach at Alabama was, at the end of the day, you've got to erase all the clutter, all the stuff, all the interviews, all the things that go along with playing the game, and you got to focus on winning each and every down. And one of the really good things I think Coach is able to do, and obviously with success Urban has had, is kind of eliminate the stuff that doesn't matter, and break it down into the end of the day. It's a ball game that's going to be won by blocking and tackling and guys that make explosive plays, and I think obviously in both cases they know what it's all about.
Coach, and I'll get to Florida in a second. I apologize for harping on your days at Alabama, but so much has been made in the Saban versus Meyer conversation about what happened in 2008 and then the revenge game the next year. Certainly, the conversations that went on. What do you remember about walking out of that stadium and learning and then moving forward the very next year and winning the SEC championship and ultimately the national championship?
Well, it was one of those things where, that was my first year at Alabama, and I think we, were undefeated going into that game, and not a lot of people probably expected that out of us. And yet I think that game probably did more for our program from the standpoint of, okay, now we know what we need to do and what it's going to take. And, that next following year preparation, it was unbelievable. I mean, the focus on the guys, the opportunity to get back to Atlanta, and then the opportunity, obviously, to play a very good football team that put it to us a year before. And so, it was really a full year of kind of understanding the whole infrastructure and the organization it takes from everybody that touches the program to be on the same page and move forward to go get a win.
You have made, Coach McElwain, two very important hires, to say the least, your coordinators. First, let's talk about Coach Nussmeier. He replaced you at Alabama, and obviously Lane Kiffin replaced him when he went to Michigan. Talk a little bit about the hiring of Doug Nussmeier, what you see in him, and how you two will coexist being offensive coordinators, so to speak.
Well, Nuss and I spent a lot of time in a room together back when we were at Michigan State, before I'd left and gone to the Raiders, and then he went into the NFL, I think that same year or maybe the next year, and obviously remained close. When I left Fresno, he came in and took over that job, did an outstanding job, and then, the same thing, our paths just kind of happened to be in the right place at the right time. He was able to come, I think did an outstanding job, obviously, at Alabama, just took over where we kind of left from, won a national title, and then, it's one of those things from a familiarity standpoint. We both understand the work ethic. I think our time spent with Coach Saban is something that's invaluable. And teaches a lot more about what it is to have a winning program in so many different aspects, that it's not just the X's and O's. There's a ton that goes into it from the infrastructure, and that's something I was able to kind of take with me when I went to Colorado State. I was allowed to, implement a lot of things that sometimes maybe go untouched, and yet I think help you really be successful as an organization. And I'm looking to do those same things as we put this thing together. And obviously with Nuss, like-minded, great guy, can't play rock, paper, scissors worth a hill of beans. I put it on him all the time. And that's really what it's all about right there, is a guy that understands how to win and is very competitive and able to adapt to to what we have, and that's going to be a key.
Defense has not been the issue at Florida, although you went out and hired one of the bright young defensive coordinators in the country in Jeff Collins. I don't need to ask you what you saw in him, but talk a little bit about hiring him.
Well, obviously, one of the important things I think, Paul, is and I think the 4 years I spent in the SEC, I think guys who have had experience in that league, it's hard to explain unless you're in it. And, that was really important as we're going to fill out our staff here shortly with guys who have been in the recruiting wars, the guys who have prepped against, the great coaches that are in the league, understanding what it is when you go into these hostile environments and what it's going to take to be successful. And obviously Jeff is a guy that I knew also from there. Our paths crossed for a year. I've admired what he's done. Obviously saw the success that he had with the guys that he had there at Mississippi State, and really was my first phone call. And I know how important it is. Even speaking as an offensive guy, man, it's good stuff when you got a good defense. And in Jeff, he's a guy who understands the system. It's going to be very similar to what we've done, and as you kind of said too, if it's in good shape, there's no reason to go try to fix the thing. It's just keep tweaking it and hopefully make it a little better. And obviously, we've done a great job on defense. So I wanted somebody that had like mind as to what we were doing and what Will and his staff were doing on that side of the ball.
I'll try not to sound like the guy in the back row at one of the Bull Gator club meetings that you'll be seeing often in the next 6 months, but what does it look like at quarterback for the Florida Gators coming up in the next season?
Well, I've had an opportunity to sit and view practices, see how the guys kind of interact with each other, watch a little bit. Obviously, it'll be a little bit, different. And it's hard from the offensive standpoint a little bit. They've had, some turnover on that side of the ball. So these guys, each year, I think, have to hear a new voice. And so, I'm looking forward to bringing some consistency in there. I really like what I saw at the quarterback position, and some guys, obviously, that are winners, which I think is really, really important, and guys that the team respects. And, from that standpoint, adapting now as we get to work with them, as we start now in the off season, and trying to really find their strengths and apply what we need to do to help them be successful as leaders, and hopefully throw it to our colored jerseys, Paul. That's kind of one of the main things, and I look forward to implementing the things that we do, with the guys that we have on that side of the ball.
Finally, Coach, you've seen the pinnacle of college football being part of the Saban regime at Alabama, so you don't need a refresher course in the pressure, but that is a tough job down there, and Will Muschamp occasionally was challenged by the pressure of the job, and for whatever reason he wasn't successful. How do you view the suffocating pressure of being the head coach at Florida?
Well, I guess it's kind of grown up. I kind of enjoy pressure, and I really don't look at it as pressure as much as an opportunity. And I think it's great. I think anytime you've got people that are passionate and care so much, that makes it kind of fun. And yet we've got a long ways to go now. We've got to totally overhaul some areas within just within the organization itself. And one of the things, the master plan, it takes time. It's not something that happens overnight, and yet I do understand that we do live in the instant gratification society today, and so we're going to have to make some progress in a hurry. But at the same time, you've got to make sure that we build the foundations right, and that starts with recruiting. That starts with everybody involved in the organization understanding that we've all got to have a common goal and no separate agendas. And so as we kind of restructure and reframe what we're doing, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to working with this administration hand in hand in getting the Gators back to where we belong.
Well done. Coach McElwain, thank you for your time. I know it's a transitional period, and we look forward to seeing you again and talking again, and best wishes in the new year.